The first time it happened was to a woman called Mrs. Anderson early one morning. When the elderly woman had calmed down, she told her husband that there was an unspeakable evil coming to their town. At first, he found it hard to believe and even told his brother of the strange dream she'd had. A short time later, he dismissed it as a nightmare and thought nothing more of it. The next day the electricity had been cut off with no explanation, also car batteries and mobile phones had stopped working. 2 days later, in the early hours of the morning, 70 more people woke up in terror experiencing the same awful dream involving the destruction of their beloved town. By Wednesday, there was a meeting in the local church to discuss what was causing this. Some of the locals were bemused, while others blamed the government for all their recent problems. Why are we here? Because some people had a bad dream? It's ridiculous, shouted one man, clearly annoyed that they were taking this way too seriously. The man then stormed off, leaving some of the townsfolk shocked by his behavior. An hour later and the meeting had finished on a somber note. The man who'd organized the meeting just didn't know what to make of this and kept his thoughts to himself, only telling everyone to stay vigilant and if they see anything out of the ordinary to report it. But one thing did come to light that day involving one of the locals by the name of Jeffrey, who'd observed a strange light in the sky 4 days earlier before all this began. On Thursday, many folk stayed indoors, believing some of the stories they'd heard, while others carried on as usual, even though lack of electricity and not being able to drive anywhere caused many problems. Early Friday evening, while many people went about their business, observed devastating fires from far away. Another meeting was held Saturday afternoon. The majority now in favor of it. Even the person who'd caused trouble in the first meeting stayed surprisingly quiet. The man in charge took him to one side and asked him if he was okay. The 30-something man looked at him with fear in his eyes. I saw it in my dream last night. It's not human, but something far more terrifying. It's not going to stop until everyone is dead. There's nothing anyone can do to stop it. We're screwed. On Sunday morning, black ash fell from the sky. The sun had faded to nothing. The evil was close. From a street on the outskirts of the town which overlooked a big field appeared the devil that many had seen in their dreams. From the windows of their houses, people watched fearfully as the creature got closer. It walked on 2 legs and from a distance resembled a human being apart from it, spat fire from its mouth, burning everything and anyone in its path. Houses were ablaze and the people that escaped them were massacred in the streets. Within 2 hours, the place was destroyed. Little Billy had had the most awful nightmare. He got out of bed, then ran to his mother's bedroom, where she was still asleep. The sun shone through the window and it was already warm. Mummy, Mummy, I've just had a horrible dream about a monster that burns things to the ground. The woman opened her eyes and kissed his forehead tenderly. There, my brave little soldier. It's only a dream, Mummy's here now, and I'll promise you everything's going to be okay. I'd never lie to you, would I, sweetheart? The boy smiled, knowing he was just being silly. The next day, an elderly man who lived just down the road had a similar dream which scared him very much. The end.